Hello, everybody. My name is Laura Cantu. Welcome to our live stream Tuesday. Today is the one live stream of the week, of the month, actually, where we happen to do a four-way live stream. So we are currently going live on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. So if you see me looking this way, it's because I will be looking at your comments on Instagram and TikTok right here. We have the cameras over here, and I am looking at the camera in front of me because that is how I am talking to my Facebook and YouTube audience. So definitely let me know where you're joining from. Let me know whether you are a parent or a student watching this. If you're a parent, what grade is your student in? If you're a student, what grade are you in? And yeah, let me know how you're doing, where you're joining from. As some of you may know, if you have joined us in the past, we are from Florida. It's definitely almost summertime because it is hot. It is very, very warm, and it is definitely Florida. It's always summer in Florida. We do get a couple of cool days, but it's definitely the summer is right around the corner because we're getting that heat that Florida is known for. And anyway, I see that we have Food Ranger joining us, Best College Aid. Francisco is in the chat, monitoring the chat. Francisco tends to be in these live streams, hosting them and speaking. But today it was my turn to join you and to talk with you guys. So he gets a little break, but he is with you in the chat. And I see that Trojan says, hello from Delton, Georgia. Thank you for joining us. Sweet Lovely say, my student is in 9th grade. What can she do to go to college? That is a great question. Since you're asking that and since we are all here, I want to let you guys know so that you can take advantage of our sale, our spring break sale that ends tonight. Today is the last day that we will have our spring break sale. So if you want to know what you can do, or if you want to take advantage of this sale so that you can become a member of Best College Aid and that you can have access to all of our incredible benefits that our members have, which include, a step-by-step guide that teaches you and your family how to navigate the college admissions process from beginning to end, how to find scholarships, how to apply for financial aid, how to apply to the right college that is going to offer scholarships. If you want to learn all of these tips and strategies, well, I recommend that you take advantage of our spring break sale. Today is our last day, and you can have a 60% off of Best College Aid, our lifetime membership. Usually, this Best College Aid is worth $997, but with this sale, you can have access to Best College Aid for one-time payment of $397 or 3 monthly payments of $177. So if you want to have access to this amazing membership that has helped hundreds and hundreds of families, parents, and students help their kids get accepted into colleges such as NYU, Northeastern, Boston University, UCLA. Take advantage of this sale that we have that ends tonight and, join Best College Aid today. If you want to join Best College Aid, if you want to take advantage of this sale, the link is in our bio if you're watching us on Instagram and on TikTok. If you're watching us on Instagram and TikTok, link in bio to reach and, take advantage of the sale. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, the link to this discount, to this special spring break sale is below in this video's description, so you can access it and you can join Best College Aid today. So take advantage of that because it does end tonight, and join Best College Aid so that you can have access to, our monthly member only live Q&A session, which we only have once a month, and it's exclusive for members. We actually had our private members only live Q&A session yesterday night. It was around an hour and a half where our members meet through Zoom and they ask us, the personal questions or the questions that we don't answer in these live streams because they're just more for our members, and we are able to help them. Our members are also able to get help through our online private members only group. We have a private group that is exclusive just to members of Best College Aid, and they can get support. They can get guidance through that. They also have access, obviously, to the membership, to the course, where we have, detailed online and video tutorials where we detail everything from when the moment the student is in middle school till they are in high school, till they're going, through the college admissions process, how to write a great college essay, how to fill out the FAFSA, how to look for scholarships, etc. So those are all amazing things that are included inside of Best College Aid. So if you're interested, take advantage of the spring break sale now. The link, again, is in our bio if you're watching us on Instagram and TikTok, and if you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook, it's in this video's description, okay? Perfect. I do see that we have Gabriel joining us on YouTube saying, I'm an international student majoring in software engineering in Brazil, and I plan to transfer to a place in the US that could offer me 100% or something like that aid related. Awesome. There's a lot of schools in the United States that offer great scholarships for students who are international. Usually you would have to go through a application process, like a transfer application, since you are already majoring in that in Brazil. But yes, there are a lot of colleges that do offer scholarships. They offer either institutional scholarships based on merit, so based on the academic merit, maybe if you have really good grades or if you practice an extracurricular activity. There are ways to go to a college that can offer a great scholarship and allow you to come to the United States and continue to study what you do. So welcome to the live stream, Gabriel. Thank you so much for being here. And I do see that we have Emily Olive asking, I'm in 7th grade and my school has a class called AVID, and it prepares you for college, and I was wondering if I should do AVID in 8th grade or a language. Well, that's a great question. So you're in middle school, and something that we do encourage our middle school students to do is, if they feel prepared, if they feel ready, taking some advanced classes, or if the middle school, because not all middle schools do offer high school level courses, but if your middle school offers that, we definitely do encourage our students to try to take those classes and try to, amp up that, how hard those classes are, so that they can start preparing for maybe what a high school level class is like, an advanced high school level course, or a college level class in high school. So those AP classes, those IB classes. So definitely, if it's something that interests you, if you have been taking honors classes, advanced classes in your middle school, if your middle school does offer that, definitely, that is something that you could do, and something that would also help you prepare for high school. And it's a great thing to do, great way to prepare for high school and be more knowledgeable. And definitely, I definitely recommend it. Alrighty, so now that we kind of introduced ourselves and I kind of saw who was watching us, I definitely want to go over today's presentation, which is how to help your child win scholarships for college. I will be talking about that today. Remember that we do go live separately. We don't usually do the 4-way streaming. Usually we do YouTube and Facebook on Mondays, and Instagram and TikTok on Tuesdays at the same time, 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. But just wanted to remind you of that. So next week we'll go back to Monday, YouTube and Facebook, 7:15 p.m. Eastern time, and Tuesday, YouTube and Instagram and TikTok at 7:15 Eastern time. Wow, I cannot talk today. But anyway, let's talk about today's topic. Let's jump right in. Remember, at the end of the presentation, I do answer your questions, so stay tuned for that. So today, let's talk about how to help your child win scholarships. And the first piece of advice that I want to give you, parents and students, is please don't let any money go unclaimed. Believe it or not, according to our source, the NCAN.org, they report that $3.75 billion in Pell Grants go on claim for went on claim for the high school class of 2021. So in 2021, the class of 2021 didn't claim. Students either didn't fill out the FAFSA, either didn't fill it out correctly, their parents didn't help them, etc. And there was so much money that went unclaimed, so much financial aid that could have gone to students so that they can pay their education that just wasn't claimed for many reasons. So the biggest piece of advice is parents, students, if your student qualifies or is eligible to potentially receive the Pell Grant, don't think that because either you are both of the parents work, so in the household both parents have a job, or maybe if you only have one single, if you're a single student, single child household, or if your student makes more money. I mean, if the parents make a lot of money, if they make more than $200,000 a year, don't think that just these factors are going to prevent you or your student from receiving federal aid or grants from the federal government, or even receiving institutional scholarships. If your student has a social security number, if your student is a resident, if you're a resident of the United States, citizen, if you qualify, if you are one of those eligible people that can fill out these financial aid forms, fill it out. Trust me. Yes, maybe your student might not qualify because of how much you make. Maybe they won't receive any federal aid, but still fill it out, because as we said, the National College Attainment Network reported that in the year of 2021, the class of 2021, there was $3.75 billion in Pell Grants that went unclaimed. So, make sure that if you are eligible, if you can, you fill out the FAFSA, obviously. So just kind of clarify what is federal aid, what's Pell Grants. A Pell Grant is money. It's kind of like a scholarship. It's money that doesn't have to be paid back. A Pell Grant is different from a scholarship and from a loan. It's not a loan because it's not money that has to be paid back. It's not a scholarship, but it's a grant. It's money that is awarded to students after they fill out the FAFSA and if they qualify, and this money does not have to be repaid. Now, 1.7 million students didn't fill out the FAFSA in 2021, the class of 2021, which of those 1.7 million students, 813,000 qualified for Pell Grants. So that's why so much money in that last slide, so much money went unclaimed, because those students weren't filling out these forms. Those parents weren't helping their students fill out the forms. They assumed that they didn't qualify, or they just felt that because both parents worked, as I said, or many other reasons, they just didn't fill it out, or maybe they filled it out too late after the deadline, or they filled it out incorrectly. The FAFSA was not filed correctly, the information was submitted incorrectly. It wasn't right. So there's plenty of reasons why these weren't submitted, these forms, but it is important that the FAFSA is filled out on time, it's filled out correctly, because making a mistake when filling out these forms can also be very detrimental. So these are just some facts, and also just going into the Pell Grant, the highest Pell Grant award in 2023 and 2024, the highest amount of money in Pell Grants that a student received was $7,395, which if you multiply this times 4, so 4 years times $7,395, that goes up to $29,580. So almost $30,000 in 4 years, which is aid that the student can potentially receive if they stay, in that school, if they continue to fill out the FAFSA, if their parents continue to help them. That is a big chunk of money in grants, in basically money that doesn't have to be repaid, and it's a big help for a lot of students. So don't make the mistake of not helping your student fill out this form, right? So that's basically the first piece of advice. Don't let money go unclaimed. This takes me to my second piece of advice, which kind of goes hand in hand with what I said, which is fill out financial aid forms. I spoke about the FAFSA already, but I do want to talk about the CSS profile. The CSS profile, it says if applicable, which this means, why do I say if applicable? So the FAFSA is required by all colleges and universities in the United States. The CSS profile, not all colleges and universities require this form. There are certain, colleges that require it for international students, but some schools don't require for citizens or residents of the United States. So it depends on the school, it depends on the students' citizenship status, if they are residents or citizens, if they're international students. But whatever your student situation is, they have to make sure whether or not that school is going to require this form. If they do require the CSS profile, it has to be completed, because these forms are used to determine institutional aid and scholarships. These are awards awarded by the college and the university that requires these forms. So, for example, what's a school that requires the CSS profile? I believe that UNC Chapel Hill. UNC Chapel Hill is a school that does require the CSS profile and the FAFSA, both forms, and it requires it for students that are citizens or residents that qualify for federal aid, and for students who are international students. So if your dream, whether you're international or if you are a resident of or a citizen of the United States, if you live in the USA, if your dream is to go to the school, definitely, if you're a citizen, fill out the FAFSA. And since the school would require the CSS profile, fill out this form as well, because obviously the school is asking it for a reason. So don't forget to help your child fill out both these forms. Sometimes parents then make the mistake of not realizing that the school is asking or they require the CSS profile. So they fill out the FAFSA and they send it, and then they realize that they never sent out the CSS profile. So definitely make sure that you are checking what the requirements are for each specific school that your student is applying to. Alrighty, how are we doing in the chat? I see that wonderfully made Donnell says NYU. Yes, NYU, I believe it might require the CSS profile. There's a way to figure it out. And inside of Best College Aid, we have a tutorial where we basically teach our students, we teach them everything. we have step-by-step tutorials from how to create a College Board account, how to create a college list, how to fill out the FAFSA, how to fill out the CSS profile, how to know if a school requires these forms. But yes, there are ways to figure this out. So yeah. And perfect. Remember, at the end of the live stream, I will be answering your questions. I know that Francisco is in the chat, answering your comments and monitoring the chat. So definitely stay tuned. If I don't answer a question or a comment because I'm giving the presentation, don't worry. Francisco is in the chat, and I will take time at the end of the presentation to answer some of your comments and questions. Alrighty, so that was tip number 2. Now let's go to the third and final tip that I have for you. But before that, obviously, I already said, what happens if let's say that you apply for the FAFSA, you apply for the CSS profile, you help your student fill out these forms, but you realize, or maybe you find out, or early on that you don't really have financial need, that your family doesn't really have financial need because maybe both parents work, and parents, mom and dad, or both parents make, they earn a good amount of money per year, so they don't really have financial need that the college usually looks at in order to award financial aid based on need. Well, there are plenty of colleges and universities that offer merit-based scholarships based on, you guessed it, merit. So what's merit? So merit can be anything from academic merit. So the student having good grades, having great SAT or ACT scores. It can be from an extracurricular activity. I did theater for throughout high school, and when I was applying to college, I looked for colleges that offer theater scholarships. I looked for universities that had theater programs and where I could do theater as an extracurricular activity, because I knew that I didn't really want to major in theater. I wanted to be an extracurricular activity, something that I can do as an additional activity, kind of like as a club, but maybe still get scholarships for it. So when I was looking for schools, my search was very specific. And I did find opportunities. I did find a way to do theater. I auditioned for Marist College Marist College's theater program, and I basically got into the program, and I was able to major in whatever I wanted and minor in theater because that was part of the scholarship program that they have. So that can be an extracurricular activity that could lead to a merit-based scholarship. There's leadership. Leadership positions can also lead to merit-based scholarships. And, the biggest one obviously being sports. My brother David, he was a D1 athlete. He was a college level athlete, and he swam throughout his 4 years of college, his whole entire college career. He was a swimmer, and he had many perks. The biggest one being getting $8,000 in as a sports scholarship, an athletic scholarship that helped him pay for his tuition. And he also obviously got to register for classes early because he had to work his schedule around his swimming schedule, his training schedule. He got to travel. On his freshman year, they did a training trip to Puerto Rico, and he also went to Orlando for 3 years to train during their winter trip, their training trip, and he got to go to Universal, to Disney, all those cool things. He got to travel too for swim meets and go to other colleges to do swim meets there. So he had a lot of advantages, not only scholarship, but he made friends with his teammates. He made lifelong friendships, all that fun stuff. So definitely there's advantages, and that is something that helped him afford college and help him pay for college. So if you're a student, if you know that maybe you're not going to have demonstrated financial need because of your family situation, definitely look for colleges that offer merit-based scholarships, and just apply to those colleges and look for those options. All right, the third tip that I have for you, and that is merit-based scholarships. I kind of already talked to you about that. So what are merit-based scholarships? I already talked about it. That was my third tip. Sorry. Looking for colleges that offer merit-based scholarships and focusing on your strengths, your students' strengths when looking for colleges, or even before. Like we get a lot of parents, a lot of middle schoolers, which we kind of did earlier today. A question from a middle school student asked us what advice do we have for them, for students who are in middle school. And the biggest piece of advice that I always have for students who are just starting, or they're in middle school, is finding something that they're passionate about. And that goes hand in hand with what I was saying about David's experience in college. David swam, and he was an athlete, but he did that. My parents didn't really force him to swim or to do anything. He loved it so much. He was the only one out of us four, my three brothers and myself. We all swam throughout our whole entire lives, but he was the one that really loved it. Clearly, he continued to go to college for it, and he was really passionate about it. To me, with my example with theater, I loved theater. It was something that I wanted to continue to do. I wish I would have started since my middle school years. So, my passion for this extracurricular activity, is definitely what pushed and what motivated me to look for opportunities where I could continue to do it in college. So, merit-based scholarships and passions kind of go hand in hand. A lot of students that are college level athletes, they do that because they're passionate about their sports, their arts. If they do theater, if they do music, maybe they're a part of the band and they're really passionate about it. Maybe they are leaders and they love leadership positions. My brother Francisco, he was the president of his class, and he was also the vice president of SGA and NHS, the National Honor Society. So he actually did receive merit-based scholarships based on his leadership positions throughout high school. So this is also something that can be explored and can be used to the students' advantage. So there are plenty of ways of receiving and finding scholarships for college, merit-based scholarships, using the students' passions to help them get to the right school that is going to help them find and afford that school, because they're going to be receiving scholarships. And there's also private scholarships that can be found through search engines, online search engines such as FastWeb, Unigo, scholarships.com, and these online search engines that help students find scholarships, can help them find scholarships related to that activity that they do. For example, a student that is really into film or photography, they can build up a portfolio and create a portfolio for a photography scholarship, and put up a portfolio, write an essay depending on what the scholarship application is requiring, and they could win a scholarship for doing this. So this is definitely something that I do mention and I do recommend for a lot of students, is finding their passion, finding what they're passionate about, and using it to their advantage to eventually, hopefully, win some merit-based scholarships to continue to do that activity in college. Alrighty, so those were my tips for you today. I see that we do have a lot of comments and questions on Instagram. I see a couple of people on YouTube have asked questions. So let's definitely get into that and answer those questions. But before I do that, I just want to remind you, because today is the last day of our spring break sale, don't forget, our spring break sale ends tonight. If you are interested in joining Best College Aid, on becoming a member of Best College Aid and having lifetime access to all of our benefits, to all of our online support, to our, step-by-step guide that comes with more than 80 video tutorials where we describe everything about the college admissions process from the moment that the student is in middle school till they are in college. If you want to take advantage and join Best College Aid today, the link is in this video's description if you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook. If you're watching us on Instagram and TikTok, the link is in our bio. You can get access to that spring break sale that ends tonight and have access to all of our amazing benefits and join Best College Aid today, become a member, and just have also our online support, unlimited online support. We do answer your questions via email, via private message. We also have a private Facebook group where our members, we only accept members, and they're constantly asking questions and we're giving support through there. We also have monthly live Q&A sessions that are through Zoom that we have for our members that we actually had yesterday, and we sit down for an hour and a half, and our members are asking questions, our students, our parents are asking questions, and we answer those questions live, and we dedicate time to answering the more personal questions, or the most specific case-by-case questions that our members have for us. So there's also many other benefits, such as Kaplan study materials for the ACT, a year of ACT online prep, and many other discounts and benefits that our members have. So if you want to take advantage of this, join Best College Aid today. Again, it's a lifetime membership, a one-time payment, and you will have access to Best College Aid for the rest of your life, and you and your family will have access to it. It's not just one membership, like, everybody in the family has to get a membership. If you have several kids, if you have 3 or 4 kids, all this information is going to be for you, mom and dad, and for your children. So the link is in my bio if you're watching on Instagram or in TikTok on Instagram, or if you're watching on Facebook, the link to this sale is in the video's description. So take advantage of it. All right, so now we get to the questions and to the comments. Let's start from the very beginning and see what questions, what comments we got throughout this live presentation. I see that we had, we answered Emily's question about Avid. Juliet NYC said when to apply to those opportunities. So if you are wondering when should your student apply for private scholarships, the thing about private scholarships is that there's plenty of different scholarships and the qualifications are different, the requirements are different. So some scholarships are going to be only for high school seniors. Some scholarships are only going to be for students that are already in college. But there are opportunities for students who are in ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, seniors in high school. There are some scholarship opportunities for students who are in middle school. So for private scholarships, you heard me mention scholarship search engines. There are millions of dollars available in private scholarships, which means there are plenty of different, private scholarship opportunities and private scholarship competitions, because usually they're like sort of like a competition where the student has to like apply, and if they win, they are chosen. You're chosen within a pool of applicants. So with private scholarships, it all depends on what's available, and it's important that the student is constantly looking for private scholarships. Now, if we're talking about merit-based scholarships that are institutional scholarships, these are scholarships that are obviously institutional scholarships are awarded by the institution, the colleges that the student is applying to. So if the student is applying to a school and they fill out the financial aid forms required and they send in their application, well, depending on how they did in high school, what their GPA is, if they do extracurricular activities, etc., that is how they could receive an institutional scholarship. All right, but great question. And that happens senior year. Sorry. For the federal aid, the FAFSA, the CSS Profile, all that has to be filled out in the senior year, 12th grade. All right, perfect. Will changes of my child getting financial aid higher if we have another child already attending another college? Kalani is asking. Great question. So, yes, usually when your student's when you're helping your student fill out the FAFSA, and you happen to have other children that go to college, that has to be mentioned in those financial aid applications, in the FAFSA. Sometimes colleges have additional financial aid forms that have to be filled out, and that does have to be mentioned and has to be listed. And that could very well be a factor that affects whether or not the student receives financial aid. And that is actually a reason why some parents, or students, they say, well, I'm not going to fill out the FAFSA because my parents both have jobs and they, make more than a certain amount of money per year, so we're not going to be eligible. But sometimes they don't realize that maybe they have 4 children and 3 of them are already in college, so maybe that is something that they're going to consider when awarding financial aid and scholarships based on needs. So yeah, those things, those specific factors definitely can affect how much financial aid a student could receive. So great question. I'm not saying for guaranteed it's going to affect it. It's going to make a difference, but it could happen, and it has happened. So it all depends again on the family situation, and it's kind of like a case by case type of thing. Great question. Alrighty. How is again, another question from Juliet. How is the process of divorced parents applying separately with opposite incomes? All right, let me put this. All right. Great question. So these are all divorce questions that have to be filled out in the FAFSA and the CSS profile. There are sections where these have to obviously be filled out and has to be explained, whether whoever has custody of the child or who the child lives with most of the time, usually that's who has to fill out the FAFSA. But also, yeah, it depends on the specific situation, but it is something that thus could affect obviously how much financial aid the student receives, and it depends on the family's situation, and it does have to be mentioned, and it does have their specific section that has to be filled out if that is the case. And inside of Best College Aid, we do have a whole tutorial where we explain and we basically go step by step in how these specific situations have to be addressed, or just, how this process has to be done for families where this is the case. Because, yeah, the FAFSA, the CSS profile, these are things that they do want to know. So definitely it does affect it. And obviously there is a process for families that have or go through this, that have to fill out this part of the application. So yeah, that's a great question. Excellent question. Pretty Natty says, where can we go to find out about these scholarships? Pretty Natty 98. Well, so there are different types of financial aid and scholarships, and we do have a presentation usually that is a free training where we talk about the 6 steps to help your children go to college with scholarships. This free training is in the link in our bio, which we will put, we always have it in the link in our bio. Right now we have our sale, which obviously our Best College Aid membership is the step-by-step, the holy grail of everything that you want and need to learn, everything about how to apply for scholarships, where to look for scholarships, and it's a step-by-step guide where we help our students, and not only do they have the information and the resources in front of them, but they also have us, they have me, my siblings who have gone through this process, who we've helped, hundreds of families, hundreds of parents, hundreds of students, and we have recently had success stories. We have families, students who have been accepted in this past year into NYU, UT Austin, UF, FGCU, FSU. We had a student who got accepted into the University of Pennsylvania last year, Stanford. Great universities. So if you want that specific one-on-one help, one-on-one training, with unlimited online support via chat, via our private members only group, our monthly live Q&A sessions that are exclusive for just members, and many other benefits, I would encourage you to take advantage of our spring break sale. The link to this sale is in this video's description if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook. If you're watching on Instagram and TikTok, the link to this sale for our spring break sale is in our bio. You can take advantage of that, and we will help you dominate, understand the college admissions process, and help you, through every step of the process to you and your family. If you join today, it's a one-time payment, and you get access to Best College Aid, to all of the benefits inside this membership for life. So, take advantage of it. The sale ends tonight, and you can have all those benefits today. All right. Great question. Alrighty, I don't see any other questions, and that was all of, oh my god, all of our presentation. I am dying over here. Thank you so much for joining. I hope that this video was educational. I hope that you were able to learn. Please don't forget to take advantage of our spring break sale. It's 60% off. Usually Best College Aid, our membership is $997. But with this spring break sale, you get 60% off. So you only would have to do a one-time payment of $397 or 3 monthly payments of $177. And again, once you pay this, you have access to Best College Aid and all of our benefits for the rest of your life, you and your family. It's a family membership, so take advantage of this discount. Join Best College Aid today. Link is in my bio if you're watching on Instagram and TikTok. Link is in this video's description if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube. Take advantage and join Best College Aid today. We really want to help you. We want to make it also affordable. We want to make college advising affordable. We know how expensive a private college counselor can be. They can charge tens of thousands of dollars for their services, and we want to make it affordable, and we want to make it, accessible. So that's why we're doing this, and the sale ends today. That's why I'm reminding you and saying it's over and over again. Don't forget to take advantage of the sale. My name is Laura Cantu. Thank you so much for joining us today and for being here with us. I will see you next week, and hopefully we get a lot of new members that take advantage of this amazing discount. And if not, I'll see you next week or on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, where you usually see us. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you later.